A very good afternoon to one and all. Today we are going to do a new poem, and the name of the poem is The Enchanted Shirt, and it is written by John Hay. Okay, before we proceed to the poem, I would like to introduce this poet, that is John Hay. Now, okay, you can see in your textbooks, John Hay was a distinguished means very important, okay? He was an important American diplomat. So John Hay was a distinguished American diplomat. Diplomat means what? An official who represents his her country in a foreign country. That is page number 65. Okay. So what is a diplomat? A diplomat is an official who represents his or her country in a foreign country. So that is known as a diplomat. So John Hay was a distinguished American diplomat who famously served as private secretary to Abraham Lincoln. So he was serving as a private secretary to Abraham Lincoln. He was born in 1838 in the state of Indiana, that is in USA. While studying at university, he became interested in literature and took writing poetries. Okay, now this poet, that is John Hay. Okay, he was born on 8th October. Okay, in the month of October in the year 1838. Indiana, US. So he was born in US, Indiana, 8th October 1838. Okay, and he died on 1st July. When he died, 1st July 1905. Okay, in Newbury, US. Okay.
No. Ma'am, what are those dates, ma'am? Whose birthday?
This is the poet, that is John Hay. Okay?
Ma'am, what? Ma'am, 8th October 1838 is his birthday.
Yeah. And his death date is this. The other one, that is 1st July 1905 is his death date. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we shall see.
Ma'am, but it's not because that's
Yes, Naya.
Ma'am, what is
After the class, please stop. I'll tell you.
Ma'am, what?
Okay?
Ma'am, what
I'm giving you time that time to discuss. Okay, now I'll tell you that this is a ballet. This poem is a ballet. Now, what is a ballet? Okay, this poem, as I said, is a ballet. Now, what is a ballet? A ballet is a form of a verse for a narrative set of music. We can sing it. Okay, ballets are stories that can be sung. Now, the poem in a form of a story. So, it's known as a ballet. And these can be also sung. Okay,
Ma'am, what is the meaning of enchanted?
Pavan, Pavan, I'm coming there. I've told you not to disturb the class now. Yes. So now, as I told you that it is a ballet. Okay, ballet means something that is a poem in a form of a story. This poem is also in a form of a story, and it can be sung also. So now we come back to the topic, that is the enchanted shirt. Now, Pawan wanted what is enchanted, what is enchanted. So, I'll be telling you the meaning what is enchanted. Enchanted means pleased or very interested. Please do not speak in the between and disturb the class. Yash and Pavan. Okay, so enchanted means pleased or very interested. Okay, so now I'll be reading the poem and you look into the poem on page number 62. The king was sick, his cheek was red, and his eyes were clear and bright. He ate and drank with a kingly jest and peacefully snored at night. But he said he was sick and a king should know, and doctors came by the score. They did not cure him. He cut off their heads and sent to the schools for more. At last, two famous doctors came, and one was poor as a rat. He had passed his life in studious toil and never found time to grow fat. The other had never looked in a book. His patients gave him no trouble. If they recovered, they paid him well. If they died, their heirs paid double. Together, they looked at the royal tongue as the king on his couch reclined. In succession, they thumped his august chest, but no trace of disease could find. The old sage said, "You're as sound as a nut. Hang him up," roared the king in a gale. In a 10-knot gale of royal rage, the other leech grew a shade pale, but he pensively rubbed his sagacious nose, and thus his prescription ran. The king will be well if he sleeps one night in the shirt of a happy man. Wide over the realm, the couriers rode, and fast their horses ran. And many they saw, and to many they spoke, but they found no happy man. They found poor men who would fain be rich, and rich who thought they were poor. The men who twisted their waist in stay, and women that chodos wore. They saw two men by the roadside sit, and both bemoaned their lot. For one had buried his wife, he said, and the other one had not. At last, as they came to a village gate, a beggar lay whistling there. He whistled and sang and laughed and rolled on the grass in the soft June air. The weary couriers paused and looked at the scamp so blithe and gay, and one of them said, "Heaven save you, friend. You seem to be happy today." "Oh, yes, fair sirs," the rascal laughed, and his voice rang free and glad. "An idle man has so much to do that he never has time to be sad. This is our man, the courier said. Our luck has led us aright. I will give you 100 ducats, friend, for the loan of your shirt tonight. The merry blackguard lay back on the grass and laughed till his face was black. I would do it, God what? And he rode with the fun. But I haven't a shirt to my back. Each day to the king the report came in of his successful speeches and the sad panorama of human woes passed daily under his eyes, and he grew ashamed of his useless life and his maladies hatched in gloom. He opened his windows and let the air of the free heaven into his room, and out he went in the world and toiled in his own appointed way, and the people blessed him. The land was glad, and the king was well and gay. So this was the poem that I read. Now we shall see into the paragraph explanation. Okay. So the king was sick, his cheek was red, and his eyes was clear and bright. So this king was a king and the king was sick. Sick means not keeping well. Okay, the king was ill, he was sick. His cheek was red. His cheek, no, it was fully red, and his eyes were clear and bright. You know, when you go to the doctor, first thing what the doctor does, he sees, he looks at you, okay, then he looks into your eyes, he looks into your tongue. Yes? So now this king, his eyes were bright and clear, and his cheek was nice and red, okay? He ate and drank with a kingly jest. Kingly jest means he ate and drank like a kingly jest. Jest means enthusiasm. Just means enthusiasm. So this king, he ate also and drank also nicely and peacefully snored at night. And this king, no, he slept a peaceful sleep at night. So can you call him a sick king? No, we cannot say that he was sick. Why? Because he had nice, bright and clear eyes. His cheeks were nice and red. He ate and drank. Okay, and he slept also well at night. You know, when we are sick, we cannot eat our food. Okay, on our face only, our eyes and all send a message that we are sick. We can look and say that you are sick. But here everything was fine with this king. He ate also well, he slept also well, he was snoring in the night. Okay, and he also had nice and bright eyes, his cheeks were red. So everything was fine with this king in this paragraph. So now let us see what happens in the next paragraph. But he said he was sick and the king should know, and doctors came by the score. Now here, by the score, what is the meaning by the score? It is by a dozen. Dozen means many doctors came, okay, to check him. So what he's saying here in this para, he said he was sick. Now this king, as we saw in the first para, he's saying that he is well and he's looking fine. He's eating, he's sleeping, but he's saying that he's sick. Okay, he's saying he's sick and he should know the doctors came all by score, and because he was sick, the people who lived in his kingdom, all of them came one by one to see him. Okay, to see what is the problem this doctor is facing, what is the sickness he is facing. So many doctors were called from his kingdom to see him. They did not cure him. He cut off their heads and sent to the school for more. So now what is the poet saying? That is saying that if these doctors who came to check him and if he was not healed, okay, what was the punishment given? The punishment was that their head was cut off. Okay, this was a punishment. So whoever came, many doctors came, and if they, many of them didn't treat him, and if they didn't treat him, their heads were cut and sent to the school for more. And he also said other doctors, whoever they in the kingdom, that they should come and check him and find out what is the disease that he is suffering. Okay, he wants that the doctor should find out what is the problem that he is suffering with, because he's saying he is unwell, he is sick. And that's why you want to know what is the disease that he is having. So all the doctors when they came and they didn't treat him, they were punished, the heads were cut, and still he asked for more doctors to come and to check him. Next para. At last, two famous doctors came, and one was as poor as a rat. So now in the kingdom, the two doctors had come. Okay, now the description given of these doctors. Now what is saying? At last, two doctors came, and one was poor as a rat. So he is telling this. There were two doctors came, and that one doctor was very poor. He was how he was like a rat. Okay, he was not well dressed. He was thin. So he is compared. He is being compared to a rat. This doctor. He passed his life in studious toil. So this doctor, who looked like a rat, okay, was poor like a rat. He had passed his life, so full of his life, studious. Studious means spending a lot of time in study. Studious, those who study, spend a lot of time faithfully. They sit and study. They are known as studious children. Okay, so this doctor was a very studious. Toil means hard work. So here the meaning of studious is spend a lot of time. Studious, spending lot of time studying. Okay, that is known as studious. And another word is that toil. Okay, toil. The meaning of toil is hard work. Hard work. So was this doctor. Okay, the two doctors came. In that, the first doctor was okay. He came from a very poor background. He looked like was like a rat. Then he says that but he was very studious. Okay, he had passed his life in studious, that is, okay, studying, spending a lot of time in studying, and he was a very hard-working doctor and never found time to grow fat, and he was very thin, okay, comparing to a rat. And he says that he was so studious and worked so hard that he did not have any time to grow fat. So this was the one doctor from the two who came introduction, the description about him. Okay, now the other had never looked in the book. So this was one. Now we are talking about the second doctor. Okay, how was the second doctor? The other had never looked in the book. So the first doctor was very studious. Now the second doctor, he never looked in a book. His patients gave him no trouble. So his patients also, those who all came for treatment, they never gave him any trouble. Okay, and if they recovered, they paid him well. So any patient that came to this doctor, and if they got recovered means became fine, fit and fine, they paid him nicely. Who? The patient and the family members of this patient, they gave him nice money, so they paid him nicely. But okay, If they died, they are highest paid than double. So, what is the specialty? If the patient died of the second doctor, if the patient died, the highest means whoever that is there in the house, his members, family members, okay, a person with legal right to receive the money. Higher means now if the father dies, then the son is the legal higher, no? So he says that if the higher sorry, if they died, the hires paid well. So in both the ways, he got money. If the patient recovers, also he got money. If the patient died, also the hire paid the doctor very nicely. So both the side. So this doctor was a very happy, jolly doctor, enjoyed his life. In both the ways, he got his money. So these are the two doctors that now came to the kingdom. Okay, to look after this doctor, to see, to know what is the sickness, illness that he is facing, the king is facing. So they have come now. Now what happens? Together they looked at the royal tongue as the king on his couch reclined. So, what is the poet saying? Together they looked at the royal. So, this both of them came together and they wanted to examine his tongue. Okay, as I already told you, when you go to a doctor, the doctor first looks at you, then he looks at your tongue, then he looks at your eyes. Okay, in the same manner, these doctors they went together and they looked at this king. Okay, now first they asked him to open his mouth and show his royal tongue because he was a king. Okay, as the king on his couch reclined. Now here's couch means a sofa. Okay, as the king on his couch reclined, laid his back and relaxed. In a relaxed posture, he was sitting on the couch on the sofa. Who? The king. Okay. So now, as the king on his couch reclined, what is the meaning of the word reclined? Reclined. So laid his back in a relaxed posture. So the king was sitting nicely on the sofa, relaxed. He was sitting. His successions, they thumped his august chest. Now his succession means, okay, the right to have an important position after someone else. So succession means the right to have. So one by one they went, they thumbed. Now here the thumb means they hit. Now they hit his august chest. August, okay, is a grand and important. August means grand. So this king, no, he was a king. He was very grand. He was a very important person. Okay, so now what they did one by one, they went and they thumbed. Thumbed means hit on his chest. Even the doctors they hit on your back or hit on your chest just to find whether you're breathing properly or no. They take a stethoscope and they check you and all that. Okay, so these two doctors also did the same thing with the king. Okay, in succession they went. So one by one they went. And thumbed his august chest. August means grand and important. As he was a king, so his chest was very grand and very big chest he had. And these two, so one by one they went and they started checking. But no trace could find. Okay, sorry, trace of disease could find. So when both of them checked him, here both of them didn't get any trace of any type of disease. Okay, now what happens? Let us see the next para. The old sage said, "You're as sound as a nut." Now here, sage means a wise person, okay? A wise person. So,
And his guru also will be there. No?
yeah. The old sage said, "You're sound as a nut." So, from these to one person, he said that you're fine as a nut. Okay, nut means you have seen anything that is your uproot. It's having a nut. It is so hard and so strong. No, so he's telling you're fine like a nut. He's saying, okay, and hanging up rode the king in a gale. Now the king was very angry and he said, what he said, road means very angry voice, the king said in gale, in a very strong wind, that is in a strong voice he said. What he said, hang him up. Why did he say hang him up? Because he said that he's fit like a nut. Okay, so the king ordered that he should be hanged. In a 10 knot gale of royal rage, okay, in a 10 knot gale, that is a very strong wind, the royal rage, the other leech grew a shade pale. Means the other doctor was there just standing there beside. He saw this all. What the king said, that hang him. Why? Because he told that he is fit and fine. He's like a nut.
And the body is done.
So now the other leech grew, that the other person, no, the creature, the person who was standing there, he grew a shade pale, means he became light, pale. Okay, pale means here the meaning of pale is having skin that is light in color,
Man in middle was stucky.
often
Stucky.
because of fear or illness. Okay, so this is the meaning of pale, having skin that is light in color, often because of fear or illness. So now the another doctor was standing and he has always seen what the king has given order. He has told the first doctor to hang him. Now this doctor was very frightened. So he became pale, okay, his skin that is light and color and often because of fear or illness. So this doctor became very pale. So next para, but he pensively rubbed his sagacious nose. Now here pensively means he thoughtfully. Who rubbed his nose thoughtfully? No, the doctor. Okay, the second doctor. The first doctor was always sent to be. He said so that the men of the king should go and hang him. That was the punishment given to him. So the other doctor is now very frightened. Before he checks and before he gives his own this prescription, he is so frightened. Okay, so what is he? But he thoughtfully. Now pensively means thoughtfully.
हमें कहाँ से रखूँ ऊपर?
Pensively, thoughtfully. Okay, thoughtfully. So, this doctor, but he pensively rubbed his sagacious noise and thus his prescription ran. So, what did he prescribe? This doctor, what did his prescription say? Now, see. Okay, when you go to a doctor, okay, the doctor checks you and what he does, he gives a prescription. Okay, the doctor gives a prescription, he writes, and then you take the prescription and then you go to the chemist to buy the medicine. So now this doctor has written a prescription, means written the name of the medicine. Prescription means written the name of the medicine. Okay, that is known as prescription. So the king will be well if he sleeps one night in the shirt of a happy man. Yes. So now the second doctor, what he has said. Okay, he has said that he thinks and thinks and that he gives a prescription. Okay, now what he says, the king will be well, the king will be fit and fine. He says, if he sleeps for one night, he did not say that he is fit and fine now. Now he thought and he says that the king will be fine if he sleeps for one night in a happy, in a shirt of a happy man. So that was the prescription given by this man. Okay, he says that the king will sleep if he sleeps one night in a happy man's shirt.